the thing that's most glaring in all of this is that the conditions continue to deteriorate for the people who are victims in this, and the efforts to do something about it don't seem to be anywhere in sight. I want to read you something, Wolf. This is a quote from an editorial. "A better leader would have flown straight to the disaster zone and announced the immediate mobilization of every available resource. The cool, confident, intuitive leadership Bush exhibited in his first term, particularly in the months following 9/11, has vanished." Now, that's not from some liberal rag. That is an editorial from one of the most conservative newspapers in the country, New Hampshire's union leader. The New York Times, not unexpectedly, kind of chimed in. They said the president showed up a day later than he was needed, and they excoriated him for appearing casual to the point of carelessness. Harsh words coming from FEMA's former disaster response chief, Eric Tolbert, who says the government was not ready and shifted its attention from natural disasters to fighting the war on terror. The questions that we ask on the Situation Room every afternoon, Wolf, are posted on the website 2 or 3 hours before we go on the air. And people who read the website often begin to respond to the questions before the show actually starts. The question this hour is, how would you rate the response of the federal government to Hurricane Katrina? I got to tell you something. We got 500 or 600 letters before the show even went on the air. No one says the federal government is doing a good job in handling one of the most atrocious and embarrassing and far-reaching and calamitous things that has come along in this country in my lifetime. I'm 62. I remember the riots in Watts. I remember the earthquake in San Francisco. I remember a lot of things. I have never, ever seen anything as badly bungled and poorly handled as this situation in New Orleans. Where the hell is the water for these people? Why can't sandwiches be dropped to those people that are in that Superdome down there? I mean, what is going on? This is Thursday. This storm happened 5 days ago. It's a disgrace, and don't think the world isn't watching. This is the government the taxpayers are paying for, and it's fallen right flat on its face, as far as I can see, in the way it's handled this thing. We're going to talk about something else before the show's over, too, and that's the big elephant in the room, the race and economic class of most of the victims, which the media hasn't discussed much at all, but we will a bit later. Wolf?
All right, Jack. Thanks very much, Jack.
Joining me from Baton Rouge is Louisiana Senator Mary Landrieu. Senator, appreciate you joining us tonight. Does the federal government bear responsibility for what is happening now? Should they apologize for what is happening now?
Anderson, there will be plenty of time to discuss all of those issues about why and how and what and if. But Anderson, as you understand, and all of the producers and directors of CNN and the news networks, this situation is very serious, and it's going to demand all of our full attention through the hours, through the night, through the days. Let me just say a few things. Thank President Clinton and former President Bush for their strong statements of support and comfort today. I thank all the leaders that are coming to Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama to our help and rescue. We are grateful for the military assets that are being brought to bear. I want to thank Senator Frist and Senator Reid for their extraordinary efforts, Anderson. Tonight, I don't know if you've heard, maybe you all have announced it, but Congress is going to an unprecedented session to pass a $10 billion supplemental bill tonight to keep FEMA and the Red Cross up and operating.
Excuse me, Senator, I'm sorry for interrupting. I haven't heard that because for the last 4 days, I've been seeing dead bodies in the streets here in Mississippi, and to listen to politicians thanking each other and complimenting each other, you know, I got to tell you, there are a lot of people here who are very upset and very angry and very frustrated, and when they hear politicians thanking one another, it just, it kind of cuts them the wrong way right now, because literally there was a body on the streets of this town yesterday being eaten by rats because this woman had been laying in the street for 48 hours, and there's not enough facilities to take her up. Do you get the anger that is out here?
Anderson, I have the anger inside of me. Most of the homes in my family have been destroyed. Our homes have been destroyed. I understand what you're saying, and I know all of those details. And the President of the United States knows those details. I'm not angry at anyone. I'm just expressing that it is so important for everyone in this nation to pull together for all military assets and all assets to be brought to bear to this situation. And I have every confidence that this country is as great and as strong as we can be to do that, and that effort is underway.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people here who are kind of ashamed of what is happening in this country right now, what is ashamed of what is happening in your state, certainly, and that's not to blame the people who are there. It's a desperate situation. But I guess, you know, no one seems to be taking responsibility. I mean, I know you say there's a time and a place for kind of, you know, looking back, but this seems to be the time and the place. I mean, there are people who want answers, and there are people who want someone to stand up and say, you know what, we should have done more. Are all the assets being brought to bear? I mean, today, for the first time, I'm seeing National Guard troops in this town.
Anderson, I know, and I know where you are, and I know what you're seeing. Believe me, we know it. And we understand, and there will be a time to talk about all of that. Trust me. I know what the people are suffering. The governor knows, the president knows, the military officials know, and they're trying to do the very best they can to stabilize the situation. Senator Vitter, our congressional delegation, all of us understand what is happening. We are doing our very, very best to get the situation under control, but I want to thank the president. He will be here tomorrow, we think, and the military is sending assets as we speak. So please, I understand. You might say I'm a politician, but I grew up in New Orleans. My father was the mayor of that city. I've represented that city my whole life, and it's just not New Orleans. It's St. Bernard and St. Tammany and Plaquemine Parish that have been completely underwater. Our levee system has failed. We need a lot of help, and the Congress has been wonderful to help us, and we need more help. Nobody's perfect, Anderson. Everybody has to stand up here, and I know you understand. So thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Well, I appreciate you joining us on the program tonight. I can only imagine how busy you are. Thank you very much, Senator Landrieu.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And good luck to you and all the people working to solve this problem, because at this point it is very hard to try to figure out how this problem is going to get solved. There was a desperate search that we have been following for a baby. We have